Hi folks, it's me. It's Grumble Chris, back with my, well, not back. Welcome to my first ever episode of Grumble Tech. So, we're going to talk today about the FreeStyle Libre 2, which is a device that makes having diabetes a lot easier to manage. I wear one. It is on my arm, under here. And this thing is what we're actually going to talk about. So, I have had a FreeStyle Libre 2 now for about a year, maybe two, and I've had nothing but problems with them. They fail, they fall off, they refuse to read for no reason at all, and all sorts of things. So I wanted to design something using my 3D printer and Tinkercad that would allow me to make it more reliable. Because I knew it was a case of there wasn't enough pressure going to the device. So I came up with this. So version 1 was literally just a plate that goes on the device itself. I don't have one here. I don't have an old one here to show you, unfortunately. With the hole in the middle for the Bluetooth signal to get out. I don't know whether that hole's strictly necessary, but I put it in anyway because it saves plastic as well. And you can see it's tapered in, so it touches the top of the device, but doesn't touch your skin, which is useful. And then at this stage, I used an armband, just an elastic armband that you can buy from the store, to cover it. The problem I had with this was, A, my arms are very big, I'm a very large person, and that meant that the armbands I was using were too tight. Plus, if this moved, then, or the armband moved, it would pull the sensor out of my arm. Now, it's only a little flexible plastic needle. It doesn't hurt, but it's annoying. Especially when you're paying for these sensors yourself, and they cost £50 or £60 or $100 each. So, I then came up with version 2, which is this one at the bottom. And you can see version 2 has the same outline as version 1. The hole is a bit bigger, but the same outline. It's also been bent inwards to go round my arm better. Now, I print these level and flat. And then the force I use with elastic, which is what goes through those holes, the elastic I use, there, so it goes through those holes, oh, too far, there, they clamp it to my skin and cause it to bend. Now, it still doesn't touch the skin on this one, but I was finding that, again, if this moved, it would pull the sensor out of my arm. And I was getting maybe 3 days before the sensor would come out. Now, I had lots of sensors fail, and I never got a replacement sensor on the basis of one of these failures. I paid for a lot of sensors that I probably shouldn't have paid for, just on the basis of trialing this out. But then I did this. So this is technically version 4. Let's go to version 3 first. Okay, version 3 is this. So version 3 is the same as version 2, but I've made the elastic wider, and I've added a slant on the outside. Now, I did that for 2 reasons. I added the slant because this was making contact with my skin at that point, and I didn't want it to. I thought it would be a lot better if it didn't. So I added a slant to the outside. I also added a slant to the holes to make them grip more easily with the elastic. But you can see here I've made the elastic wider. So the holes for the elastic are wider, but the hole in the middle has gone back to the original small hole. And honestly, there was stability coming into it there. The bigger hole seemed to allow the piece to bend more easily, and as it was bending, it was causing the sensor to move. So by having the smaller hole, it was somehow stopping the sensor from moving. I'm sure there's a physics or mathematical reason for that happening. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell us. So, that was version 3. This is it's labelled version 3, it's technically version 4. It has an additional bump on each side to raise the piece up from the skin a little bit. It doesn't raise it up much, but it raises it up just enough to stop it digging in on the ring that goes around the sensor. And that works really well. That worked really well. The problem is it was leaving marks on my skin, and I didn't want that. So then I came up with version 4. And these were the first 2 prints I did, and they were very rough and very horrible. But anyone who's got a 3D printer will tell you, this happens sometimes. And I took away the bumps at the ends and put them on the top and bottom. And this is the version I use now. Nearly. But it works. Because the surfaces are much larger on the top and bottom, it doesn't interfere with the elastic. The elastic's still there. The elastic is still the 1-inch wide elastic. I use Velcro to secure the elastic, and this is basically where we are now. Now, the one I print right now is this one, and you can see it's almost exactly the same. The only difference is that it's got a lip on the top. On the edge of where the sensor goes, there's a lip. Now, the reason for that lip is to make contact with the skin, if there is any, much softer. And there is, in my case, and honestly, it works really quite well. Now, I've printed this in a whole range of colours and types and all sorts. You saw there I had it in white and blue, so here's one of the blue ones. This is one of the later ones. And then, see if I can find an early one. There's an early one. I've got lots of them here. Here's an early one, which hasn't been bent yet. And you can see it's quite a simple single piece construction, and it works really quite well. So I think what I would like to do next is increase the circular section on the edges, on the top and bottom edges. Make it go all the way around so the bottom isn't flat. Now, whilst I don't think that will make a big difference, one thing it will do is the line where the top, or the bottom on this perspective, the bottom meets the side, meets the curved pieces, that can dig into the skin ever so slightly. And if you've got loose skin, that can be a problem. So, my plan is to, instead of having just a piece that goes just around the top, is to have it go all the way around and form not a tube, but a cylinder. A solid cylinder that goes the whole length of the item, of the piece. Now, I keep on doing that. At the moment, you can see it's got the two shaped pieces on either end, and then in the middle there's the elastic. So the plan would be to have those shaped pieces carry on round and just form two cylinders. One thing I also want to do though is to make this out of TPU. Now, because of what the FreeStyle Libre sensor is, because it is for managing diabetes, because it is a medical device, I do not want to do anything that interferes with it. At all. Ever. I do not want to do anything at all that interferes with it. I do not think that interfering or taking this device apart or adding things to it unnecessarily is going to help the quality of my medical care. What I do think will help, though, is making sure the device works as optimally as possible. And that includes making sure it stays attached to my skin. Especially when you have loose skin like I do. Part of it is from the accident I had when I was a teenager. Part of it is from just being a large person. So, what I would like to do is create this in TPU. Now, TPU is a flexible plastic that you can print with on a 3D printer. I'm going to order some in the next couple of days. I haven't got any yet. I'm going to order a tester pack that someone on Twitter who manufactures it pointed out to me. And once I've ordered it, there will be an update to this video showing you what I've done since. Now, other than that, my next steps are really quite simple. I've got the elastic and the Velcro sorted. I've updated the Velcro and the elastic to get them in different colours now, whereas before I only had white. Now I have a mixture of 30 colours that I got from eBay, and the Velcro I have in black and white at the moment. I'll just use whichever one's more suitable. So I have one person, a friend of mine, who wants one of these, and I shall very gladly make one for them. And I think we've got enough to make maybe an impact. I know these will never officially be supported by Abbott Healthcare or Abbott Medical or whatever they're called that make the FreeStyle Libre, but this allows me to use my FreeStyle Libre, and it allows me to use it in a way that I know is reliable. I know it will work. I know when I go to bed, I will not wake up with the thing halfway in the quilt or something, or halfway in the duvet, because it's fallen off my arm overnight. I would also like to encourage FreeStyle Libre to investigate other positions. At the moment, the device is limited. It can only be placed on one part of your arm. Now, in my situation especially, I would like to be able to use it on my stomach or on my legs. Now, I think my stomach would be the optimal position for me. But without testing and without people going, yes, you can do this, I can't say for sure that it's okay for me to do this. So I'm not going to say that you should. In fact, I'm going to say quite the opposite. I'm going to say you shouldn't. You should not do it unless you specifically know it will work for you. The official position is that you should only use it on the back of your arm, between your elbow and roughly the base of your shoulder blade. But honestly, I find it works best for me if I have it roughly where I've got it here, which is about 2 inches from my elbow. Yes, this is the elastic. It's well worn at this point. If I take it off, this is what it looks like. So it has the piece on top, has the elastic, which has Velcro on it, which you may not be able to see, but there is Velcro there, trust me. And Velcro on the other side as well. And then just a loop of elastic which will stretch as needed. And then on your arm, you have a white thing, which is the FreeStyle Libre, and it holds it. And yes, there are marks on my arm because I keep the elastic very tight. But if I loosened it off by maybe half a centimetre or maybe half an inch in total, there would be no marks. There are no marks around the sensor itself. The sensor is well protected. It reads perfectly every time. It does make life considerably easier. And to put it on, you just slide it on and slide it over. Nice and simple. Now, I don't sell these. These are not something that I sell for other people. But if you would like one, please get in touch and I will happily make one for you. Or give you the files so that you can print one yourself on a 3D printer. But folks, that's, this is where I am with this project. My next step, as I said, is to get the TPU. After I've purchased the TPU, I'm going to run some test prints with the current version 5, version 4 design. And then I'm maybe going to make some modifications to it to bring that cylinder into play. And after I've done that, if the TPU, if the flexible plastic requires me to do other things, then maybe it will require me to tweak the design slightly, or it will require me to work on the design in a different way, then I will do that. I will happily do that. I want to make sure that what I am doing works not just for me, but for you as well. If you would like a copy of this, then will be a link on my website at crumblecrust.com where you can download the STL files for this. You can order it, you can do whatever you like with it. It's, I'm not holding you saying you must use this one. It's very simple. It does not cost much to get printed. The elastic and the Velcro are very cheap. I think it's something you would genuinely enjoy. So, folks, that's it. We're done. So, our first video is done. Subscribe if you can. It's above my head. Right up there. I can never remember that one. Recommended is at the top. Next video is next to me. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me. The next video I do will be on programming. It will be going over some techniques to do with if statements. Something I find particularly fascinating, and a way of making programming easier to understand, and also how to make your programming work slightly quicker by using one little trick in an if statement. So folks, that's it for now. I'll see you later. Stay safe.